Introducing the new Dell PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It's not just an AI computer, it's a computer built for AI. That means it's built to help do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, running lots of apps without lag, creating live translations and captions, summarizing meeting notes, extending battery life, enhancing security, finding that file you were looking for, managing your schedule, meeting your deadlines, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for more you time and for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Optimal Finance Daily, the 4 Backstops to the 4% Rule, Part 1, by Sean Mullaney of FItaxGuy.com. Introduction. Worried about an early retirement based on the 4% rule? Might the 4% rule work because of natural backstops most early retirees enjoy? The 4% Rule. The 4% rule is a rule of thumb developed by the F.I.R.E community. For example, J.L. Collins writes extensively about the 4% rule in Chapter 29 of his classic book, The Simple Path to Wealth. Boiled down, the rule of thumb states that an investor can retire when he or she or a couple has 25 times their annual expenses invested in financial assets, equities, and bonds. They would then spend down 4% of their wealth annually in retirement. The first year's withdrawal forms a baseline and is increased annually for inflation. The idea behind the 4% rule is that the retiree would have a very strong chance of funding retirement expenses and never running out of money in retirement. As a result, some refer to 4% as a safe withdrawal rate. Here's how it could look. Maury is 50. He has $1 million saved in financial assets. He can spend $40,000 in the first year of retirement. If inflation is 3% at the end of his first year of retirement, he increases his withdrawal by 3% or $1,200 to $41,200 for the second year of retirement. The 4% rule has a nice elegance to it. Most investors aim for a greater than 4% return. In theory, with a 5% return every year, the 4% rule would never fail a retiree. If you spend approximately 4% annually and you earn approximately 5% annually, you have, in theory, created a perpetual money-making machine and guaranteed success in retirement. The theory is great, but in practice, we know that investors are subject to ups and downs, gains and losses. What happens if there's a large dip in equity and/or bond prices during the first year or two of retirement? What if there are several down years in a row during retirement? As a result of these risks and stock market highs in late 2021, some are worried that the 4% rule is too generous for many retirees. This post adds a wrinkle to the discussion. The 4 backstops to the 4% rule for early retirees. What if worries about the adequacy of the 4% rule for early retirees can be addressed by factors outside of the 4% rule's safe withdrawal rate? And what if those factors quite naturally occur for early retirees? Here I discuss what I believe to be the 4 natural backstops to the 4% rule. Number 1, spending. A 4% spending rate in retirement is not preordained from the on high. Spending in retirement can be adjusted. Those adjustments can take on 2 flavors. The first flavor are defensive spending reductions. As Michael Kitches observed on an episode of the Bigger Pockets Money podcast, retirees will not blindly spend 4% annually without making adjustments in down stock markets. See that the stock market is down 10% this month? Okay, take a domestic vacation for 6 days instead of an international vacation for 9 days. Buy a used car instead of a new car. Scale down and/or delay the kitchen remodel. There are levers early retirees can pull that can help compensate for declines in financial assets while not too radically altering quality of life. The second flavor is, from a financial perspective, even better. As early retirees age, there will be natural reductions in spending. How many 80-year-olds decide to take a 12-hour flight to the tropics for the first time? There's a natural reduction in energy and interest in certain kinds of spending as one ages. It's likely that many retirees will experience very natural declines in expenses as they age. Number 2, Social Security. For the early retiree under 62 years old, the 4% rule must disregard Social Security. Why? Because Social Security does not pay until age 62, and many in the financial independence community delay Social Security payments beyond age 62, perhaps all the way to age 70 to increase the annual payment. Here is an example of how that works. Melinda is 55. She's accumulated $1.5 million in financial assets and can live on $60,000 per year. If she retires at age 55 and lives off $60,000 a year, increased annually for inflation, the only financial resources she has are her financial assets, what I refer to as her 4% assets. She cannot live off of Social Security payments until age 62 and may choose to defer receiving Social Security up to age 70. If Melinda defers Social Security until age 70 and receives $2,500 per month at age 70 from Social Security, her 4% assets now don't need to generate the full 4% once she turns 70, since Social Security will pay her $30,000 a year at age 70. In theory, under the 4% rule, Melinda's Social Security is play money. Melinda funds her lifestyle with withdrawals from her financial assets, and now she's getting additional Social Security payments. But if her portfolio is struggling to produce the amount Melinda needs to live off of, Social Security payments provide a backstop and can help make up the difference. You might think, but wait a minute, didn't Melinda significantly lower her Social Security benefits by retiring early by conventional standards? Hear the answer on tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled The 4 Backstops to the 4% Rule by Sean Mullaney of FItaxGuy.com. Imagine you're a business owner who has to rely on a dozen different software programs to run your company, none of which are connected, and each one is more expensive and more complicated than the last. It can be pretty stressful. Now imagine Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on one simple, easy-to-use platform, giving you peace of mind that your business is always being taken care of from every angle. Odoo has user-friendly open-source applications for everything. We're talking CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and everything in between. Basically, if your business needs it, Odoo's got it. Odoo sounds pretty amazing, right? So stop wasting your time and money on those expensive, disconnected platforms and let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. It doesn't get much better than that. So what are you waiting for? Discover how Odoo can take your business to the next level by visiting odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. Odoo, modern management made simple.
Tuesday on NBC, Jimmy Fallon and Bozoma St. John host the highly anticipated new competition show.
I hired 10 creatives from all walks of life. They will be battling it out to see who can impress the world's biggest brands.
This is a huge opportunity.
This is the battle for the next big idea.
This is not play.
We're spending millions of dollars.
I'm so excited to embark on this adventure with all of you.
May the best idea win!
On Brand with Jimmy Fallon. Series premiere Tuesday on NBC.
Figuring out a good drawdown strategy is something discussed often in the FIRE community. While I DIY my financial planning and investing now, I'm in the accumulation phase and things are pretty simple at the moment. I definitely see myself consulting a flat fee advisor to help me with a drawdown strategy when the time comes. However, I've heard from many friends who are currently drawing down on their portfolios that in the face of an uncertain future, you're better off relying on general rules of thumb rather than trying to suss out and predict every last detail. And that's what the 4% rule is. It's a guideline. The downside is that the model assumes that you have no other income and will never have any other income for the rest of your life, which for most people isn't true. Social Security is going to kick in at some point, if nothing else, as Sean mentions here. Also, early retirees oftentimes go on to create businesses or find other hobbies that end up earning them some money that they didn't anticipate when they were retiring. It also assumes that you'll never decrease your spending for any reason. It doesn't consider when Medicare kicks in and reduces your healthcare costs, and assumes that your personal rate of inflation will match the overall rate of inflation, which for the frugal among us is laughable. Rather than plan your withdrawals for the rest of your life based on the 4% rule, it makes more sense to have flexibility and refine your retirement plan annually. Some tools that I've heard great things about for modeling include Portfolio Visualizer and New Retirement. That should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow, where we'll finish up this post and where your optimal life awaits.